Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we are going to be discussing 12 Fourth Doctor stories that I think are better than the Caves of Androzani. Now, to be fair, in some of these it's a purely subjective thing. Some of these stories I do think are objectively better, but there are some of them I'm going to list that Caves is definitely objectively better than. So it's boiling down in some of these cases to ones I just subjectively like more. I do want to have that clear. Now, I am going to be excluding Genesis from this list because we discussed Genesis against the Caves of Androzani recently with the poll that was done. And a lot of you agreed with me that Genesis was better. The poll was like 60% in Genesis' favor. So we've already established in that video that why I like Genesis better and how some of you agree that Genesis is better than Caves of Androzani. So I'm going to exclude Genesis from the list, and it's still going to be a dozen Fourth Doctor stories that I think are better than the Caves of Androzani. Because it always bugs me that Caves is a great story. I think it's Peter Davison's best performance. I think it's objectively his best story. Subjectively, it's probably my third favorite of his. But I do still think, while being a masterpiece and being wonderfully written by Bob Holmes, I love Bob Holmes, I still think it's overrated. So let's talk about Fourth Doctor stories I like better. Starting off with City of Death, my favorite Doctor Who story. City of Death is just fun. And to me, a lot of these are going to break down to rewatchability, because I like Caves, but Caves is something I have to be in the mood for. It's like a special occasion, an event. I only watch it every now and then. It's definitely not a lighthearted story. Whereas City of Death is fun. The location work in Paris is fun. The Douglas Adams humor is all over it. Tom Baker is at possibly his best here. Douglas Adams' writing and Tom Baker's Fourth Doctor just marry really well together. Lala is great in this. Duggan is great as this. Julian Glover's character is great in this. The Countess is great in this. Everybody is just doing magnificent in this. And I just love it so much more. It's such a fun story. And seeing just the ideas behind it, like of Skaggarath being splintered throughout time. It's absolutely fantastic. It has some really good cliffhangers in it too. And I can't stand being tortured by someone with cold hands. I love that. I love that. Number 2 on the list is The Ark in Space, one of the earliest Doctor Who stories I ever saw. I love that. You know, people rave so much about the cliffhangers from the Caves of Androzani, which are good, and episode 3 is one of the best. But that cliffhanger when Noah pulls his hand out of his pocket, I can't remember if that's episode 1 or 2, I think that's 2. That's a cliffhanger. I remember seeing that as a child and being like, especially with that childlike imagination that can just run away with it. Perfect cliffhanger. And then seeing the process gradually of the Wirren taking over Noah as he became more and more like the Wirren, with the slime covering more and more of him progressively as we saw him. The body horror of that, while not exactly Cronenberg levels, is still creepy, especially for a child's imagination. But what really fascinates me about that... sinuses are really up today. What really fascinates me about that is watching it mentally affect him too. You do see him going through these mental struggles where, you know, he's trying to fight it, he's telling Vera to take command, he's trying not to hit the button, he's trying to stop himself. And then you see the Wirren take over and he's like, we will consume this world. And then he even gets confused sometimes, like when he thinks he's the engineer. It's really neat seeing that play out mentally with him, and how he, at the very end of the story, his humanity does kind of regain control of his body. That's actually a really neat struggle. Tom is great in this, and with Harry and Sarah. I guess if Harry and Sarah were ever shipped, they could be Hera. It's really nice, and plus I just love the Nerva Beacon set. I think it's a really nice set. Number 3 on the list is Robot. Now this is one I don't think it's objectively better than Caves, but on a purely subjective level, I like it better. Again, it's fun. It has a strong rewatchability for me. I really enjoyed this story. It's nice having a unit story with the Fourth Doctor to kind of start his era, ease people into it. It's nice to have him interacting with the brig here. Plus, Tom Baker's just on fire in this story. He is great. Absolutely great. Kettlewell? You let her go with Kettlewell? I absolutely just love him in this one. Tom Baker really is one of these people. He just got the Fourth Doctor like that and just got right into the role. He really, much like Matt Smith in 11th Hour, he just kind of hits the ground running, which I really like. I love him trying to do magic tricks on stage. That's really funny. It's great. The robot looks a little naff, but for this story, it just adds to the charm. I know I showed a girl I was dating this story because she watched Modern Who, but she didn't really watch Classic Who, and we watched this story together, and she absolutely loved it. She thought the robot was adorable. Anytime he's over there, oh, oh, she loved that, and that was something we got to share together too, so I really like that story. Next on the list is Pyramids of Mars. This is one, I really wish I owned this one. I don't own this one. This is the only season 13 story that I don't own. I have the rest of season 13 on DVD because season 13 is just such a phenomenal season. Probably objectively the best season the show's ever done. And Pyramids of Mars is such a good piece. I mean, aside from the nitpick that the mummies don't look very good, the rest of the story to me is flawless. I love Sutekh as a villain. He's a great one-off villain. I love that soft whisper he talks in instead of that booming voice like, say, Omega has, or the guy from the Daemons has. It's the same voice. I love that soft whisper that Gabriel Wolf, I believe is his name, does. I know he also comes back in the Impossible Planet, Satan Pit two-parter to voice the Beast. And I like the fact that the Doctor is nothing up to this guy. I mean, he really is just like an insect that Sutekh could destroy just like that. And the only reason the Fourth Doctor wins is because Sutekh thinks of the Doctor as so insignificant that it doesn't bother with him. He just kind of loses interest in him. And the Doctor is able to outwit him at the last second. But it has so many great visuals. Seeing the emissary kill the one guy just by putting his hands on his shoulder and seeing the steam, that's a chilling cliffhanger. Love that cliffhanger. Seeing that scene when the Doctor takes Sarah to that potential future and it's just a desolate wasteland, that's the stuff of nightmares. This is a phenomenal story. If you want a serious story that's, you know, Caves is a serious story. If you want a Tom Baker story that can be serious as well, boom, here it is. And I feel like Pyramids of Mars is just objectively better, aside from the naff mummies. Next on the list is Seeds of Doom. I've talked about Seeds of Doom a lot before, so I'm not going to really go into it, but I do enjoy it more than Caves. There is no Charles! I love that. Tom Baker is great in this. I love his interactions with Scorby, because it's very obvious that the characters don't like each other, and I absolutely love that. And I love the Chronoids. I love the idea of them. And I really like in their early transformation stages when they still look vaguely humanoid. That's very, very creepy. Something that's human that isn't. It's not perfect. The fully grown version looks a little naff. But, and the Brigadier, none of the regular unit people being there is kind of the elephant in the room. But other than that, it's a really good story. Next on the list is the Talons of Wing Chiang. And again, I've talked about Talons a lot, so I'm not going to really go into it. I like the atmosphere of it. I love the nighttime location work. I love the sewer scenes. I love the Dr. Sherlock Holmes outfit. That's a classic. I'm glad they put that on the Season 14 box set. Leela is great in this story. Jago and Lightfoot are fantastic in this story. I adore them. I really like Grill as a character. He's not quite as fleshed out as Jek is in Caves. I do think Jek is a little more three-dimensional and a little more sympathetic. But I do like Grill. I think he's a cool character. I like how you know that Grill was a bad person to begin with, but trying to stay alive has made him even more desperate and even more bad. It really does have this nice Phantom of the Opera thing going on to it. I like when Chang and the Doctor confront each other when Chang is on stage and asking him to hold the card, and Chang is aiming the gun at the Doctor, and the Doctor is just like holding the card closer like he's daring him to shoot. I adore that. That is fantastic. Talons is just a masterpiece. They're both masterpieces, but I just feel like Talons is better and handles the subject matter better. Next on the list at, I think we're at number 7 now, is The Brain of Morbius, Doctor Who's take on Frankenstein, and I love it. I love Morbius as a character. He's like a more dangerous version of the Master, at least before the modern series made the Master into a cartoon. I love Morbius. I would love to see more of Morbius. I don't know if I want the modern series to do that because I'm scared they'd ruin him, but I absolutely adore him in this story. His Frankenstein body looks a little classic Who-y, but not as bad as some things in the show do. It's passable. It's fine. I love watching Sarah and the Doctor taunt him. Chop Suey, the Galactic Emperor. I love that. I love when they challenge each other to the mental duel. I am this of the 5th reign, or whatever. I don't think you're the 5th reign anymore. You know, I will destroy you like this. I doubt it, Morbius. I love any time Tom Baker gets that in his voice. I doubt it, Morbius. I love that. That's when Tom Baker means business. I love the Sisterhood of Khan. They're neat. I really like the story. Again, it's dark. It's atmospheric. It's got that Hammer horror vibe going to it. It's really, really good. Season 13 is so amazing. Next on the list is the Pirate Planet. Now, again, objectively, I could see, I would probably say Caves is better, because I do consider Caves a masterpiece, and I don't think I'd quite call Pirate Planet a masterpiece. It's close. Subjectively, I enjoy it more. Again, I love Douglas Adams' humor. I think Douglas Adams' writing and the Fourth Doctor go really well together, and I just adore the Pirate Planet. Even the kind of camp parts of it, which is, again, what they were instructed to do during the Williams era, was to lighten the tone from the Hinchcliffe era and make it a little campier. This story does that really well. I love the Captain in this. Yes, he plays it a little over the top. Mr. Fibley! He plays it a little over the top. But if you actually really study the character of the Captain, the man is a genius. And the man has good intentions. He just wants to see the stars. He mourns Mr. Fibley when he dies. He's able to create that room to set up his trap. The man is extremely intelligent. Even the Doctor is respectful of his intelligence. And a little, I don't know if in awe is the right word, but he's definitely impressed. I'll put it that way. And the Doctor's not that often impressed. So I really enjoy just the concept of a vampire planet. And you realize just how atrocious and evil an idea like that is. Just to kill entire planets. Some of them populated like that. Like the next planet they were going to go to was Earth in it. That is a chilling idea. And much like the McCoy era, which is a lot of times very dark, but it has that comedic splash of rainbow paint over it, so a lot of people don't pick up on the subject matter. Pirate Planet's like that. It's got this silliness to it that it was forced to have, but the subject matter of the story is actually very, very dark, and I love that. Next on the list is State of Decay. I've raved about State of Decay before. I'm not going to really go into too much depth on it. Again, a very serious story. I enjoy it more, because I still enjoy Season 18, Fourth Doctor, a lot. He's very different than Season 17, Fourth Doctor, but I really like him. And State of Decay is my favorite Season 18 story. It is the masterpiece of the season. I do consider it a masterpiece. I really enjoy it. The scene when the three die, the effect used for that is phenomenal. I absolutely adore it. Is it objectively better than Caves? Yeah, hard to say. Subjectively, I definitely enjoy it more. I really like a lot of what's going on in this story and a lot of the ideas. I love that the castle is the spaceship. I adore that, and that the original crew have managed to live so long because they're vampires. I love everything about this story. It's nice to have a throwback to the Hinchcliffe era. I love that. Next on the list is, of course, I've got to have this one on here, speaking of horror, The Horror of Fang Rock. This is a classic. One of the best post-Hinchcliffe stories, hands down. The best story of Season 15, easily. I love this story. Lots of people die. Lots of people die. This is horror. This is being trapped with no way out. This is like Alien. You know, in the movie Alien, it's basically a horror movie in space, and they're trapped on board the ship with this alien. There's no way they can get out. Same thing here. They're on this island in a lighthouse, trapped with this creature they don't know what it is or don't know what to do about. And it's slowly learning, the creature is. The glowing green glow is just frightening when you see it. You know when you see that glowing green glow, that's a little trickier to say than I thought. You know something bad's going to happen. Oh, I see the glow. You need to get out of there. Time to leave. And, seeing these, and some of the guest characters are pretty cool. I really liked the very first one that got killed. I really liked him. And then some of the others, like the older guy, I liked his character. And the actor playing him does a really good job playing him, and the kind of reanimated, disguised Rutan version of him does a really good job. I really enjoy the Horror of Fang Rock. If I don't own Horror of Fang Rock, I am looking forward to getting that when the Season 15 box set comes out. But I already know that when I own it and Caves, I'm going to be wanting to watch Horror more than I am Caves if I have both of them at my fingertips. I just enjoy Horror more. Next on the list is the Rybas Operation, or Rybas Operation, or however you say it. I can never remember. Now, this is another one. I think Caves is objectively better. I don't necessarily count Rybas Operation as a masterpiece, but it's really, really, really good. Subjectively, I enjoy it more. Again, I've talked about this story a lot on the channel. I'm not going to go into details too much on it, but I really love Mary Tam's Romana 1 a lot, and this is probably my favorite version of her. I love watching her talk with the Doctor at the beginning in the TARDIS, and then right when they leave the TARDIS for the first time. It's either Romana or Fred. I think I prefer Fred. Right. Come on, Romana. I love that. I love the little interplay there. I like the guy playing the Grath Decay. I enjoy not only the actor playing him, I like the character itself, the way he's written. I enjoy most of what's going on there. I like the two con men. The older con man I think does really good. The younger con man I'm not as keen on. Especially when he's telling his Scrinstone story. That really drives the story right down. If that was cut out, it might be edging into masterpiece level. But I still enjoy watching it more than I do Caves. It has more of a rewatchability for me. And last on the list, and this one is definitely subjective and not objective, is Destiny of the Daleks. Now, Caves of Androzani is objectively far better than Destiny of the Daleks. No doubt. No doubt. Subjectively, Destiny has more of a rewatchability to me, and you'll notice that word's come up a lot. That's what a lot of it boils down to, is which one do I want to rewatch more often? I actually enjoyed Destiny, especially over just the past year. It's really grown. I've always enjoyed Destiny. I've never disliked Destiny. I've always thought it was a bit mediocre, but it's something that I never get bored of. Like, I watched it a month ago, and I could pop it right in right now and watch it again. You know, it's had the updated effects on the DVD. It's had the updated sound and the updated voice modulation for Davros on the box set. And those little quality of life improvements do really help for me. Yeah, the budget's not quite there, but I like a lot of the ideas going on in it. And again, I like Tom Baker in it. I actually do enjoy Lala Ward's Romana in this one. It's got more of a rewatchability to me than Caves, personally. Now, I still love Caves. Caves is great. Don't get me wrong. Caves is objectively Davison's best. It's just, for me, 80s Doctor Who is kind of the weakest Doctor Who. I guess outside of 90s Doctor Who. 80s Doctor Who doesn't quite stand up to 90s Doctor Who, in my opinion, with a few exceptions, like Season 18 and Season 26 are both pretty amazing. And Season 24 is vastly underrated. And Season 19 is actually pretty good. So that has been my list of a dozen stories, excluding Genesis, that I like better than the Caves of Androzani. I would like to know what you think of this, so comment down below and let me know what you think, and maybe list some Fourth Doctor stories that you like better than the Caves of Androzani. Might see some surprises in there. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon. If you like what I do and would like to contribute to what I do, there is a link to that down in the description below. Check that out. Anyone who joins at any tier level gets a free video request. I want to give a shout out to two of my top tier patrons, the Fifth Doctor and Stephen Crane, because I do appreciate their continued support. I also have a P.O. box. If there is anything you would like to mail me to unbox and review, that is down in the description below, as well as a link to my Amazon wish list. So if you have a minute, check that out, but no pressure. Most importantly, after all, thank you for watching.